2, 1. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 651 of the DrunkNerds podcast. As always, I'm Tyler. And joining me, we have the man, the myth,
Dude, I
the
feel like I
legend
got a
himself,
whole bunch of.
Sir
I feel like I just
Colonel
got a whole bunch of
Gables and Tyler.
energy in general this past week. And it's mostly been the kind of the same old things, right? Like go to work, like play a little bit of games here and there and stuff. I really have been in the mood just playing a lot of retro stuff this past week. So it's like the beginning portion of the year, I go back to some comfort food stuff, and then like I just start playing things on the Switch. And in the middle of everything else, though, it's like I'm just watching, keeping tabs of things NFL related, because obviously it's near championship game season. You got the NFC and the AFC championship stuff
Yep.
coming on tomorrow, then the Super Bowl a couple weeks after that. Then the season's over. But keeping track of all the head coach and coordinator like things, it's just really been a fun experience just hearing a bunch of like players and like pulling not just a bunch of players, but a lot of like reporters or some around like specific teams. Like I listen to a lot of the a lot of the beat stuff for the 49ers and stuff and like this and that. But other than that, though, I've also had the chance to watch the something that I know we're going to be talking about a little bit later on here, and that's that Xbox Developer Direct. Do
Oh,
have
yeah.
some opinions about that one. But other than that, though, everything has been rather fine this week. Tyler, how about yourself?
You know what I mean? Just clanging and banging as always. Doing okay. It's been a week of hell at work. With just work. Spent a lot of time outside at my job, and it's been here in Iowa. It's been super cold and windy. It's been like negative 20s and stuff like that. It's been pretty miserable, and so it's been some long work days. I do apologize. I said last week I was gonna do a live react to the Xbox Developer Direct. Thursday night I got home at like 8:30 at night and had to be up at 5:45 in the morning to go back to work, and I was just like, I'm too tired. And by the time I like ate dinner and sat down, it was like 9:15. I'm like, I don't even have time to actually watch the direct. So I like stayed off the internet, everything like that. I was like, I don't even want to know. Like I finally watched it Friday night when I got home from work, and I did get spoiled by Ninja Gaiden 4. That was the only thing I did know. I didn't know anything else. I just seen the headline pop up on a podcast. I was like, ooh, and I like avoid listening on my podcast, stuff like that, because I didn't want to know anything of what happened. So a lot of stuff that pretty much everything else I didn't know. I didn't even know like Platinum was making it, stuff like that. So, but yeah, no, I'm doing all right. Otherwise, it's one of those things though. It's a little dangerous, Gables, where I sat down. I always like drink a beer before while we're talking before we do the show. It's kind of give kind of loosen the lips a little bit here, get a little get a little crazy and not crazy, but just get a little mellowed out and stuff like that. I took a sip of that beer and I was like, oh no, this tastes really good. It's like
No,
uh
no.
oh. So like normally I only drink like 2 beers on recording night. And Gables, I'm on beer number 3 already, so it's gonna be.
Oh boy.
I'm already feeling it. It's funny. I used to like. I remember when we used to start this. I was like, by the time we would spend like 3 hours talking before we'd actually do the show, and I'd be like hammered by the time we started the podcast. And like nowadays, it's like
That.
I better only drink 2 beers tonight, because like at 3 or 4 beers, I wake up feeling kind of shitty the next day. So it's like, yeah, that's downside of hitting your mid 30s. It's like, oh man, I drank 3 beers last night. What's wrong with me? Um, yeah, that's a downside, I guess, of like making a drinking podcast when you're in your early 20s. But no, I'm doing all right otherwise. It's like I said, clanging and banging. It's been a fun little week. As far as like gaming news stuff like that, it really feels like between the Switch stuff last week and then the
Mm.
Xbox thing this week and everything like that, like um, really feels like we are kind of like it's January is kind of like a lull of a month, and like really since like Game Awards is like nothing like obviously like it's the holidays stuff like that, so a lot of things are shut down, but it's like really felt like more than like even like this month in general, like January has not been there hasn't even been like any like noteworthy games coming out or anything, like even like some indie
Mm.
game or something like that. Like last year we had like Power World and stuff that kind of came out of nowhere. Like Capcom would usually have like a big January game at the end of the month, and it's like I mean we didn't have I think like what Street Fighter 6 I think was it like came out like last January or something like that. It's like I mean I think here in a couple weeks it's gonna start getting crazy. February's pretty fucking nuts. So
Yeah.
I mean but yeah it definitely it's I think things are looking up for this year. More so than they already did even after
Yeah.
last week with the Switch 2 and stuff like that. But we have a couple cool things. One pretty cool thing happening later this week. Normally, if you don't know, Gables and I have been doing this for almost 12 years now. We do this for fun. We don't make money on this. We have full time jobs. We just we just like video games, and we like come in here every week, talk about video games, everything we love and hate about, love about them, hate about them, everything in between. Beer's already hitting. Uh, but usually when we do a podcast, we record it Saturday night, goes up Sunday morning. Um, but yeah, we don't. There's no Patreon. There's no way to like directly support us. But the best way to support us is just a little bit of your giving us a little bit of your time watching the podcast, liking the podcast, thumbs ups, the 5 stars, the comments, the sharing with your friends, subscribing to us. We're on YouTube, any podcast service, we are on it. So please follow us, subscribe to us, thumbs up us, 5 star review us, just share with your friends. Really, whatever you can do, we really would appreciate it. We do typically do live reactions. Just I almost always do live reactions to like indie directs or anything like that. Just this week was just nuts with work, and that was the
Mm.
first time in years where I'm just like, I don't got it this week. I just don't I don't got it. So I like yeah, so I didn't do it. Unfortunately, I'm sorry for that. But we do have a cool little extra thing going on this last weekend. Gables and I recorded. We did a second podcast. We did our fantasy critic draft. Um, and we drafted 20 games for our fantasy critic. This is our 4th year doing it. That will be going up. The plan as of right now is going up on Wednesday morning. So that is what's going on with that.
Mm.
So if you're watching this or you watch that and you're like, well, something like this is some old news here. It's because we recorded it last week. So some things might change in between now and then. Some things maybe reviewed since now and then. But that is the plan unless something else happens. The plan is to put it out next week. But yeah, yeah, like I said, like, follow, subscribe, check us out on there. It's also like this podcast that you can listen to it. We try to make sure we did a good job this year. Like when we draft something we said what we were drafting. So if you're an audio listener, you'll be fine on that. But if there is also like it might be a better one. That's a better visual podcast too. So if you want to watch it on YouTube, highly recommend it. Subscribe to us on there. Uh, that's honestly probably like my favorite things you can do for us. So every time I see that, I look subscriber number and I see it go up. We're in the 480s right now. It'd be just great if we get to 500 here soon. Then get it well on our way to 1,000. So if you can help us out that way, really would appreciate it. But Gables, let's jump into it. Some of the news this week. We really don't have like the one major news story this week, but I mean it's a pretty big news story.
Mm.
So we had the Xbox Developer Direct we talked about last week. They announced it. Um, we heard the rumors that it was going to be their like surprise thing was going to be a Japanese game that was going to be, and we knew it was going to be a unannounced a game. And then rumors came out and said it was going to be a game from Japan. Uh, so a lot of people, I did see Andy Robinson. I'm in the VGC like Discord. I believe that's where he posted it at, but that he didn't say it would be here, but he had heard that um, Ninja Gaiden 4 was in development and somebody was publishing it for them. And come to find out, they kicked off the Xbox Developer Direct with Ninja Gaiden 4. It is being published by Xbox, but it is coming to PlayStation 5 and PC as well. But yeah, finally it did get revealed here, full on reveal. We got a ton of gameplay, a ton of content for it. It is like a cyberpunk, like Tokyo, like kind of futuristic. The only history I have with Ninja Gaiden is I played the Ninja Gaiden demo on Xbox 1,000 times and never could beat it. Because but I was probably like 14 at that point in time, and I never actually finished it. But like that, I played that demo a million times. Uh, but yeah, so you play as a new protagonist named Yakumi, I believe is how you say Yakumo, maybe is how you say that. But Ryu Hayabusa is also there, and he will be a playable character. It looks like it kind of jumps between like like kind of past and also future, and then like there's at one point it looks like they're fighting each other. That is coming to Xbox and Game Pass, and that's coming this fall. Gables, you are definitely the more of the Ninja Gaiden guy than me. What was your reaction to this?
I was actually really surprised to see Ninja Gaiden like front and center in terms of like this whole developer direct, because it's like when it comes to Ninja Gaiden, I mean, we got that reveal of Ragebound and stuff like that last year,
Yeah,
right? And
at the Game Awards, that was just a
at
month
the
ago.
Game Awards, which is really weird when you think about it now because it's not one, but there was like three Ninja Gaiden games
Yeah, they did
in the
say it's the year of the
span.
ninja, so this makes sense.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I thought the Ninja Gaiden 4, like just the reveal, like after like 10 years of like kind of like a main void and stuff since like the release of Ninja Gaiden 3, Razor's Edge and stuff. I mean, that was the last full on like Ninja Gaiden game that was developed, and yeah, that's such a long while. But they're getting the help of Platinum Games in terms of the combat and stuff, which that's an excellent choice and stuff. I mean, that collab I'm kind of really excited about because Koei Tecmo, they have a specific like art style. They got a specific thing they like to do with the Ninja Gaiden series in general. Then you have Platinum, that's known for like high pace, like action games and stuff. And sometimes their best skill, like developers and so this and that, can make some fantastic experiences. I mean, we know that firsthand with the Bayonetta series and
Mm.
stuff, obviously led by Kamiya. But while I was watching it, I was really starting to get into it because it's like it's something similar, but it's like kind of different in terms of like switching looks like between like two different characters, two different type of paths possibly that they're hinting at. I mean, yeah, it looks like what it was in terms of like say the Xbox 360 sort of like experience with Ninja Gaiden. But what really made me more excited was they stealth dropped a Ninja Gaiden game on Game Pass, right?
Yeah.
And it's a remaster of Ninja Gaiden 2 that was on the 360
Yeah.
back around
Black.
2010, I
Yeah.
want to say.
Um.
I,
I'll,
I want to say it's like in the 2010s that was released.
it was on 360.
Yeah,
2008.
2008. Okay, I was two
Yeah.
years off. So that was really the last time that I could think of where you had a major Ninja Gaiden game that released. And even at that time, though, it was sort of kind of controversial itself because people were thinking that was a little bit too difficult at that point and stuff to play.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a fun surprise because not only did you get like a remastered thing of Legend of Gaiden 2, that classic from way back on the 360, but it's actually reworked to where you can play as multiple different characters and like the visual style looks like it's fairly better than what it
Yeah.
was
It's
originally
completely
launched
remade in
at.
Unreal Engine 5, so it looked gorgeous.
Yeah, absolutely. And the best part, it wasn't just available on the Game Pass. You can actually play it on PS5 as well. It's a $50 price tag, but at the same time, if you really love that series, I mean, you'll definitely spend a bit if you want to play it on PlayStation, or if you do have Game Pass, hey, you can download it right now and just play a bit of it. I haven't done any of that stuff yet since I've been so preoccupied with everything else, but yeah, I'm fairly excited about that. I'm fairly excited about Ninja Gaiden 4. I know it's supposed to be a release in the fall of this year. If I had to make an educated guess, I mean, this is one of those ones where it looked like they've been in development here for a while.
Yeah.
But if I
Four
had to
years, they
take it,
said.
if it's like 4 years, then it's probably going to be either like close to the end of like that fall quarter. I want to say like around that October to November type of like experience. That whole time frame I meant.
Yeah.
But it looks like it's going to be promising.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks fantastic. It looks honestly like when they showed the platinum thing, I audibly gasped and yelled platinum. Like I couldn't believe it. I'm a huge fan of like when platinum like the top end the good platinum games. I'm a big fan of those games. Like they're some of my favorite games ever. Obviously, we all know about the bad side of platinum. That we've all some of us have bought those TMNT games. Um, but yeah, like I was blown away by it. It looks fantastic. It's just like when I was looking at it, like watched it, and I was just like, this looks fantastic. It's like a bunch of cool shit that I'll never be able to do in this game. Um, but I don't know, like I probably it's definitely a game that, like is not for me. This is not like especially the difficulty of it. Like like it
Hmm.
was like with like the FromSoft games, people are like, oh, it's like FromSoft difficult, and it's like no, like I mean I feel like when I played like Elden Ring and I played FromSoft style games and stuff like that, it's like I feel like it seems like it's doable. It's just like it's just I don't want to put the time into it to like get good at it type of thing. It's more about like learning the patterns and stuff like that. And like Ninja Gaiden's just like it's just rude. It's just mean. It's a bully. Like it's just there to it's like they are purposely trying to like ruin like destroy your self esteem. Um so like I don't know, like I like to I played that fucking Ninja Gaiden demo when I was a teenager, when you couldn't afford games. So like, back in the day I played those like Pizza Hut, PlayStation Underground, demo disc over and over again of games or Xbox demos over and over again and stuff like that. And like, I never could beat it. So um I might at least I'll at least probably try it out. There's a part of me that kind of hopes that maybe like they'll have like a difficulty setting in there maybe for someone like me that's like this game looks great, but it's like I don't want I don't want to just get my teeth kicked in for like I know I'm never gonna beat this game if it's just Ninja Gaiden. I did download Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. I'll probably dabble into it, but it's one of those things where I'll probably play it for like an hour and like fuck this type of situation. That is like kind of what I'm expecting, but like because I know Ninja Gaiden 2 is supposed to be very very hard. Um, but yeah, I know I was reading about like I guess like because I was like why are they going to two like and I was reading I guess like Ninja Gaiden 3 was just like not great. I
No, it
believe that
was panned when it released.
yeah, and that was that the Wii U launch game too?
I think that was part of one of the Wii U's launch games as well, because I do have a copy of that game.
Yeah, yeah. So I remember that was like, but it's like the definitive version of that game, and it's like trapped in the Wii U type of thing.
Yep.
Um, yeah. So I don't know. Like, it's awesome to see. It's like it's really great, especially coming to Game Pass as well. And the shadow drop of Ninja Gaiden 2 Black is just awesome.
Mm.
Yeah, the fact that we go from like this franchise, like literally like 6 weeks ago, like there was just seemed like it was like a dead franchise, and now we're like, we got one already, we got a remake already, we got
Mm-hmm.
Ragebound supposed to be in the summer, and now we got Ninja Gaiden 4 in the fall. It's just incredible, like how we go from like this franchise is kind of dead to like all of a sudden it's like oh my god, like it's back. And like I mean it looks fantastic, and like the fact that like it just kind of looks like the Metal Gear Rising 2 that we never got, is even like kind of more exciting. And I visually the style and everything about it like is totally my type of thing. I love platinum games. It's just like for me like this will probably be a game that like if it comes out and like there are like some difficulty levels to it, and like it for people like me that can jump in and have a shot at this thing, like this could be a game that I love. Otherwise, it's gonna be a game I'm gonna play for 2 hours, get mad, and never play again. Um, Next up, though, another game I've been looking forward to here, South of Midnight. So this is like we've seen it a couple times now. It is like kind of it's based off of like southern folklore, like deep South America. Um, we got a release date for this one, April 8th. We got some more gameplay, but it's kind of like this was like the big like final thing. Like the first one we got was like a teaser trailer with a guy playing like
Mm-hmm.
guitar on like kind of on the dock. And then last year we got like a little bit of gameplay, and we still like two Toe Tom and stuff like just kind of more story stuff to it. And this time was like the full breakdown, showed a bunch of like gameplay and everything like that. Um, Third person action game. Definitely looks like a. I don't know. I'm not expecting like this game to be like game of the year, but like I feel like this is gonna be like this seems like a really good like this is like those double A games that we don't really get too often anymore, and that's kind of what I'm looking at this as. Um,
Right.
and like, I think it's gonna be $40. They said it's gonna be a 10 to 12 hour experience. Everything about this just looks like incredible. Like I
Hmm.
love the music is fantastic. You play as Hazel, who's like finds like she's a weaver. Like there's like a hurricane and like I think she's like in Louisiana, and like she gets in an argument with her mom. It's like modern day, and then like something happens, and then like she gets like almost like kind of like thrown into like this like Wizard of Oz type scenario where she's like in a different world now, and there's Two Toe Tom, and there's the alligator, and there's like the giant turtle and all that. But like I don't know, the gameplay wise like looks fine, looks good, and like I think like but like it's like what's selling it is like the visual effects, like the stop motion effects to it, the character designs, and then like the music just sounds phenomenal, and like the setting as well. Like this is the deep south type stuff is like think I can't think of like a lot of scenarios. Like I think Red Dead Redemption 2 part of it takes place in like this type of area. Like I'm thinking Mafia 3, but like other than that, like we don't get too much of this. And like also like folklore stuff, and like we don't from deep south folklore like we don't get. So like, I'm really interested in like I'm excited to like get all that. But like I feel like this is a game that like comes out like especially in 10 to 12 hours. This sounds perfect to me, and like that like if this was like a 20-25 hour game, this would be like oh no, I'd be kind of concerned about this. But like if this comes out and like the gameplay is just like good, like
Mm-hmm.
that's exactly what I want. Like if it is like, and if it's great, that's a fucking win. But if it's just like a good game to play, and the gameplay looks pretty good, like I don't think it's gonna revolutionize anything, but it looks like it's gonna be kind of a standard third person action game with some really cool character designs and stuff like that. Like I think they did say that like you can get rid of the stop motion. So like some people out there like maybe if it's like kind of makes you queasy. Like I had issues like watching like the uh the recent Spider-Man like animated movies that Sony made that are like phenomenal, but like on certain things like I can't watch it because it made me motion sick. So I do like the fact that it's like there to like for people like that might be dealing with that effect. But yeah, I was blown away by this, and the fact that it's like April 8th, like what, like 2 months away. That's awesome. Like that I was stunned. Like I mean I did talk about like there's been that rumor that they put like there was that pre-order went up for like the you can buy like the collector edition like record for like April 30th I believe. So I was like okay maybe like late April early May, but I was like April 8th even better. Fuck yeah, let's go. I'm down for this one. What about you, Gables?
You know what? From the initial from the initial look that I gave it, from a lot of the gameplay, a lot of the story stuff, it seems like this game in and of itself, I feel like I get the impression that it's going to be an okay like experience, like a standard sort of like action game and stuff. I mean, some of the stop motion stuff kind of turned me off a little bit, but at the same time, because it's like with some of the visual effects of it, it kind of just reminds me of like a game kind of like stuttering, like if I like say a couple frames or something like that, because of the whole like art style direction stuff. I
Mm,
mean, it definitely is a relief to hear that you can actually just turn that off, so that way it's just kind of a little bit more smooth of an experience in terms of like how you're looking at it. Because you got to take it in the mind of like some people's perspectives. Like if you're playing a game and stuff, and you have a character just like kind of like just literally just kind of like stuttering, you're gonna think it's some form of like performance issue. Which I know it's not for this game, but that's just kind of the impression I kind of got from it. But I do know that it's cool that this game's going to be released in a few months from now. As far as interest in it, I think it looks okay, but at the same time, I really don't have too much like excitement of wanting to go and. Oh, sorry, this little dog decided he wanted to just go and like while he's sleeping. That kind of caught me off guard. Okay, we get it. Anyway, for South of Midnight and stuff, I do like the a lot of the artistry and a lot of the music of it. That whole like New Orleans sort of like jazz style type of soundtrack. That's pretty cool. I kind of like
yeah,
that sort of like aspect about the game itself. The gameplay itself, it just kind of doesn't really intrigue me enough to want to give it a shot. I do like this game is a bit cheaper than the norm, like $40 and stuff. Maybe not that long of like an experience. I mean, it's priced appropriately. It's definitely I definitely like it that when say developers or people that bring out like a game or something, they know that okay, this is an experience to where we don't have to charge like a full $60 amount because it's probably best to sell at this kind of amount, like say like 40 or something, get a lot more people that are interested just wanting to buy into this game since it's kind of like a new property and you don't really know too much in terms of how interested people are with just sort of like a standard sort of action game in
yeah,
some aspects. But yeah, man, it's like I feel like once this game does come out, I mean, it's got potential to be a fun game. But I kind of feel like it's going to be sort of like middling in terms of like say we're like the 6.57 range in terms
mm,
of what people's interest in. I think it's going to be better than what some people may have expected it, but I still feel like it's just going to be smack dab right in the middle.
yeah.
Like maybe like after a week or so, there's going to be another game that's going to eclipse it or something, but it's going to be one of those sort of I feel like it's just going to be one of those sort of like kind of hidden gem sort of things for players that are just really going to enjoy it when they have that initial spot open to try to play something in between something.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's exactly what this is. I don't think like I'm not going into this expecting like this will be a top 10 game of the year for me. If it is, like that's
Oh,
awesome.
that'd be
But
awesome for you.
yeah, like that's. But I'm expecting this. Like yeah, like I think it's one of those things where like we talk about like that's kind of the problem like with like just in life in general. Where like I talk about all the time is like everything's fighting for your time. It's like the problem is like nowadays like it's so hard where like it's like if it's not like great, if it's not like like this like more than like like a 10 out of 10 or like one of the greatest experience ever, it's like it's not worth your time. And it's just like I mean, like to me, it's like I don't know. I like to play like different type of games. I like to play a lot of games. Like I love video games. Obviously, we do this podcast for free. We do this for fun. So it's like like I'm totally down for this. I like to try out new experiences and like yeah, like this would be a game that especially like if this was like a 40-hour game, like I'd probably play it for a few hours and bounce. But like the fact that it's 10 12 hours, like and like yeah, like I said, like if this comes out and it's like just a 7.5, 8 out of 10. That's kind of like I said. Like I'm expecting like a double A quality game, and like to me, like that is what I'm expecting. The only thing that will suck is like this is gonna like because it's an Xbox game technically. It's like I'm not looking forward to like the whole fucking Xbox debate because like we deal with this every single time that like a brand new game comes out from Xbox. It's like it if it's not like a fucking 9.5 out of 10, like everybody like oh it's a failure. It's like I mean some like I don't know like not every game needs to be a fucking home run. Not everything needs to be fucking the greatest thing of all time to be, a success. So I don't know, especially on Game Pass, perfect deal. But I would this would be a game I probably would I'd gladly buy for $40. Next up, another game's coming out in April, April 24th to be exact, and also coming to Game Pass, PS5, and all that. Clair Obscure Expedition 33. So this is coming from a team called Sandfall Interactive. This is their first game ever. It's like a small team of like 30 people, based out of Paris, France. It's really cool. Is like their studio is a fucking manor, which was awesome. And they talk about they were like very heavily inspired by like old school like JRPGs. Like they're very excited to like show off their world map and everything like that. The world is like based off of like 18th century or 1800 like Paris, like obviously a crazy version of that. Where like basically, I love the idea of the story where basically they said that like there's like this painter that comes every year, and they have like this giant like thing in the sky that's got a number on it, and every year he goes and like the number gets lower and lower, and whatever that number is, who's ever that age or older, like perishes, and it's like almost kind of like the like a Marvel Avengers situation where like they turn into dust and they just kind of disappear. And they say like every year they send people out to like go and like stop them, and no one's ever returned. And you kind of like you build this ragtag crew of people to like go and like you're on this journey to stop them. It's a turn-based strategy game or turn-based RPG. It does look like there was almost like those Mario RPG style where like quick time like like button presses you can do more damage if you time it right type of situation.
Hmm.
They showed off a lot of like stuff. Like it looks like visually, it looks fucking stunning. I can't believe this is a small team of 30 people that are making this. They did say it's gonna be a 25 to like 35 hour experience, which fuck yeah. Because I was like everything about this was like I'm loving everything about this, and I was reading about later on that they revealed that like they didn't say it during the developer direct, but they said it later on that like yeah this is a shorter game, which fuck yeah like normal like I like after last year like last year was like the year of like RPGs. It felt like of like everything needed to be like 50 plus hours, and like there's a lot of great games I played last year that were like long games, but man, some of those games those were fucking long ass games. They took forever to beat, and like man, this year is like honestly, if we can just get back to like I've been saying for a few years now, like I would just love more like normalized 20 to 30 hour games. And the fact is like this looks like maybe one of those epic journeys of like a big RPG, but it's gonna be on the shorter end. Fuck yeah. Um, I love everything about it. I love the they show like you like little like the comic relief character that kind of just shows up. That's just absolutely hilarious and adorable. And like then you have like, like there's just like one dude that pops up and he's like bonjour and he like like comes out of like a lake and he looks like a fucking like he is like their version of like the Great Fairy from like Tears of the Kingdom or something.
Hmm.
And they like this I was talking about earlier. They showed like they had like the world map and everything like that, and like it looks really cool. And like I don't know, I pretty much I love everything about this thing. The visuals, the story, the concept of it sounds really cool. They have like an all star cast, like Andy
Yeah.
Serkis, Charlie Cox, Ben Starr is in this. They have like they have one of the main female actresses from Baldur's Gate 3 is the main. She plays the main female protagonist in this game.
Okay.
Um, so like man, that like they're putting a lot into this, and like they talk about this is like labor of love for them. Like they talk about they're heavily inspired by like those early Final Fantasy games like Persona, and you can tell. And like if this game is just like 80% of those games, this game could be phenomenal. What do you think?
Oh, well, I definitely think this game had a lot of good potential coming into it. I mean, coming into this developer direct thing, I've only seen like maybe a couple bits of footage of this game, and the gameplay definitely looks interesting. I feel like this game in general is fairly ambitious because it has a lot of mixture of different types of elements. Like you have the creators that want to aim for a more sort of RPGs that they were playing pretty much like in their youth or like as adults and stuff like that for the older Final Fantasy games, probably like 2, 3, 7, 9, stuff like that, and like some of the older RPG, no, some like the say newer RPGs, like say like with Persona and this and that. So they just basically want to create like a battle system that would better kind of like it's somewhat different, but at the same time is it's good enough to where you want to play it and want to just experiment with it over and over again instead of just being it be like just a simple sort of formulaic sort of like JRPG style of battle mechanics or something. But yeah, from the initial look of it, the gameplay looks pretty solid though. It
Mm,
looks fairly solid in terms of like the battle system. It looks solid in terms of the graphical fidelity. I mean, it is rather impressive when it's really impressive when it comes to like small groups of team just manage to squeeze out like a type of experience you're not usually used to seeing like a small group manage to do. But yeah, it's just one of those things to where I am not going to fully get really this game or some until I initially play it myself, obviously, because there's only so much you can actually show of this style of game before it's just kind of where it's just kind of a little bit more like starts kind of weighing down kind of a little bit of the luster of it. But I really have good feelings about this Expedition 33 game. I just want to see I just want to see a little bit more in terms of what else it has with this game, like the gameplay, the visuals and stuff, the story stuff. They say they're trying to make this like a really good engaging like story type experience. But yeah, I think that this game has potential. That it definitely has like a lot to prove, and from what they were talking about in terms of that stuff, it just feels kind of fairly ambitious for me. Because
okay. Yeah.
if they do execute to the full extent of what they're initially planning, this could be one of the best games of the year,
Oh yeah.
personally.
If this game is as good as like, I don't know if I don't think they're trying to like, overselling it, but like if this game is as
Yeah.
good as it can be, yeah, like this game could be like like the game of the year nominee. Yeah, like this is another game where like I don't know if it's gonna be like a blow away. I don't. I went from like this game like I'm interested in to like when we saw when it was revealed last year at the Summer Game Fest for Xbox.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, this looks like a pretty cool. I'm intrigued by this game, and then after seeing this, I'm like, this is a game that like I'm not saying like game of the year for me, but I'm like, this could be a game that's like I could see in the back half of my top 10 this year type of situation. Where like just like if this game pulls it off, that's where I think it could be. And if like it's even if it's as good as it like, if it's like as good as it could be, like the high end, then yeah, it could be a game
Hmm.
of the year. But speaking of a game that could be my game of the year, and right now is the front runner, Doom: The Dark Ages. Just fuck yeah, man! Like I watched this last night with like an hour like right before I was going to bed, and I was just up. I was like, nope. It's like trying to watch Rocky at 9:30 at night. It's like, well, you're just gonna be up for 2 hours, Like you're just too jazzed up. The heart rate will not go down for like especially if you watch Rocky 4 and you get to the montage and Hearts on Fire is playing and you're like Rocky gets to the top of the mountain. He's like Adrian, and you're like fuck yeah, let's go. It's like it's just impossible. And that's like honestly like Doom: The Dark Ages is just like is the Rocky of video games to me. And man, everything they showed about this the like it sucks that Mick Gordon is gonna be back for the music. Mick Gordon is like, oh my god, the music is phenomenal. The Mick Gordon like the themes of Doom 2016 was my like alarm song to my alarm clock for like 6 years. And let me tell you, I would wake up like ready to like I would have ran through a wall if I was able to. Um, but yeah, like oh man, like they talk about like going from like 2016 they asked you to run and gun to then it was jump and gun and Doom and Turtle, and this is about stand and fight. And it's like fuck yeah, everything like every like dude, everything that was like they like obviously everything is scripted, like that for this like developer direct, but everything they said, I'm just like fuck yeah, man. I was totally in. Like I would have like done anything these guys would ask at that point in time. Like let's fucking go, let's do this, man. They're like, hey, do you want to like if those guys would ask me to play Sonic 06 right afterwards, I would have fucking done it if they would have asked me to. All right, that's how into it. What everything they said to me, I was like hook, line, sinker. I'm sold. Like what you guys could sell me like fucking anything right now. You could send me poop on a popsicle stick, and I'd fucking eat it gladly. Like that's how good this whole sales pitch was to me. Like fuck yeah, like these guys are awesome. I love everything about this. Obviously, like Doom 2016 is one of the greatest first-person shooter campaigns of all time. I was a little disappointed by Doom Eternal. I love the hook shot. I love a lot of stuff they did with it, especially like with the like they changed it like because they talked about like in Doom 2016 like they looked at it and like most people just played the game with like the super shotgun. And it's like
Yeah.
okay, well in Doom Eternal like the big thing they did was like every enemy is like you can stick with those weapons you want, but every enemy is weak to certain weapons. So it kind of made you like use all the weapons and like I'm like oh shit like no this is like all the weapons are actually really good and it's like yeah like I was one of those people that like mostly play with the super shotgun, and it's like yeah like once yep I love that idea. I love the hook shot of like how fast and like the verticality of Doom Eternal. The only problem was they went really heavy on the platforming side of it and really kind of killed the flow of like this game was like about being in like corridors and fast paced shooting and stuff like that. And there's a lot of like time of like this is a it went from like crazy fun like awesome battle moments to like all right now I'm doing a first person mediocre platforming game and it just kind of killed the flow of that of that game. And I ultimately really liked it still, but it's just kind of it was a major like it went from like that was maybe one of my most anticipated games of all time, and it was like disappointment. But yeah, this like looks fun. I'm a little concerned about the a little bit of like the speed of it, but they did say like they showed like the difficulty settings of it, where like you can like increase your parry window, you can increase the speed of the game, and like that makes me a lot happier because of like yeah, like they talk about you're more of a tank in this game. That you have the saw shield now, where like that kind of like looks like you obviously this is a prequel to the first two, so you don't have the hook shot or anything like that. So that which honestly looks fucking awesome. It's like the God of War, like the hammer in God of War, where like you could throw it and then call it back, and like actually it has the saw on it, so you can throw it and like it'll fucking like spin and like do damage to people. It also is like you can do it like you can teleport to it as well, so it's gonna be probably used for a lot of platforming and things like that, or like combos. They the glory kills are a lot faster now, where like instead of like in past games where like you do a glory kill, like you had to do glory kills to like, usually get ammo. And it would kind of like you would slow down the pace of the game because like you would stop to do like the combo move. And this one it's a lot faster, so you just like you're killing people, doing glory kills without stopping. Um, yeah, it looks phenomenal. Like the only thing does scare me really. Maybe the biggest thing is a couple things. They talk about the it's a sandbox Doom game, and then also they really talked a lot about pairing, which I'm not good at pairing. That's just not my thing. I don't do it, and I'm happy they have like the increased parry window, so they know that like cool that maybe
Yep.
this isn't for everybody. But sometimes like I do appreciate the fact that like they're willing to like okay we made this really cool thing, well we're just gonna throw that out and we're gonna do something totally different in the next Doom game, which I appreciate the fact they're willing to do that. It just kind of scares me a little bit. Like I'm like man, like Doom 2016 was like a perfect game. Like that is the most perfect game ever made to me. For like what that game is. Well, maybe like closest to being perfect. Game ever made to me. There's a few like small complaints I have, I guess. But yeah, like this game looks phenomenal. The music is great. It's not Mick Gordon, but like it definitely it sounds a little different. It's I hope they make it its own. It's not going to be like a Mick Gordon knockoff scenario, but like from what I heard of it, it sounds phenomenal. But it's just like just showing that game is like man, it's like it shows so well. Like I don't know if a game out there like you could just play the music without no one talking for like 2 minutes and just show the game. And I'm like, man, fuck yeah, let's go. This game looks phenomenal. It's coming May 15th, which is incredible.
Mm.
Like the date leaked a few days ago. But like it was one of those things where I'm like, I don't like there's like a storefront put that date up, but like I'm like okay, I don't know, but it wasn't like a scenario where like it seemed like it was 100% guaranteed that was a date, but I'm like okay, but like the fact that like it's coming out May 15th, so like 3 months away. This man, this game looks incredible. I went from like seeing it last year looked really great, and then seeing it this year, especially when you have the fucking skull crushing gun that just like grinds up skulls and then shoots the
Yeah.
fucking bones as ammo. Like fuck yeah, man. Like let's go, man. Let's fucking go. What about you, Gables?
This is definitely the best thing they showed throughout this entire developer direct. I mean, from the get go, the action, the freaking intense nature of the damn game, the freaking, like you were just saying before, the skeleton stuff, the shards of the skull or some shooting his bullets or some shit. And like, just the open sandbox aspect of like this Doom game where that has me the most interested because even for games like Doom 2016 and stuff, you're on a set path, like going to and from and stuff, and like doing the various terrains like traditional Doom and stuff. But here it's like you get to experiment with a whole bunch of different things in the environment. You get to go to different aspects of this plane and stuff, and you come across like some of the more like deadlier enemies and stuff the more you go and investigate. So there definitely is like a bunch of elements of like surprise and stuff that you can encounter. I mean, this is going to be one of those ones I feel like it's going to be more of an RPG as well as a shooter to where you do like it looked like there was like a bunch of skill trees in that damn thing too.
Yeah, Doom Eternal
So
had skills you can unlock. So
yeah, that's fairly true. That's fairly true. This one's kind of a little bit more in depth though than some of the previous ones from what it looks like so far. But I did love the combat. Did love that whole freaking gear, that whole like kind of retractable gear that you just throw out and stuff
mm,
to shred enemies and stuff. The parrying, just the whole aspect where you could just either like block and parry kind of like with the same button and stuff, and like get like a whole bunch of potential combos and stuff just to just to like eliminate one enemy to get to the other. Oh
Gables a little
boy.
tired. He's a sleepy
Yeah,
boy.
absolutely, dude. It's like, well, listeners, it's like 10 some at night for me, and like I'm normally in bed like by
Yeah,
close to like 11:30, 12. So forgive me for like all this yawning and stuff. I really do love Doom the Dark Ages, dude. It didn't put me to sleep or anything, but it was like it's one of those things where I know I want to fucking play this game, dude. When
yeah,
May 15th comes out, I mean, I want to set aside like a day or maybe like a day or two or something. Just want to just play through this damn game because it's like it's one of those rare type of experiences for me where I want to play a game when it releases. I want to just fully enjoy it and stuff and just have nonstop fun. Because every time I looked at the footage they showed of this direct, I'm thinking, I was literally getting giddy because it's like, oh, I could do this. Oh,
yeah.
fuck, I can do
I was
this.
just yeah,
Oh, I
just
can do
laughing,
that.
like it's just hysterically laughing at this whole thing, just how stupid everything looks.
It was like a freaking playground for a lot of the various senses that I was going through. It just looked like it was just pure fun. And
Mm,
that's just something that I look forward to like the most is like experimenting and just seeing how much fun I can really have while obviously playing like a big old high powered like octane like freaking game like Doom, obviously. I mean, you can affect the speed, you can make like the Doom guy like fairly quick or like fairly methodical, like a big old metal tank and
yeah. Oh, you get
shit,
to
you know?
fucking you get to play the Doomslayer mech, and then
Yes.
yeah, like holy shit, I can't believe yeah, you're gonna have kaiju battles as Doom guy. Let's fucking go, man. I can't wait. I cannot
Just
wait.
thinking
This
about
game.
it just seems awesome.
Oh man, I'm getting chills just thinking. Like yeah, I was gonna say I want to watch this as soon as we get off this, but no, I'll be up till 3 in the morning if I watch it again. So I'll probably watch it in the morning. What I might just like every day at work before like when in the parking lot before I walk in and clock in, I'm just gonna like pull up my phone and like watch that video, just get myself jazzed up for the day, just to feel something, just to feel something. Just watch that trailer again. Yeah, but yeah, blown away, blown away. But yeah, I mean, yeah, there was a like a 50-minute show, 5 games. We had the start off with Ninja Gaiden, and then we had the surprise game of there's always surprises this thing. Ninja Gaiden 2 Black Shadow drop today. South of Midnight, Clair Obscure Expedition 33, and then Doom Dark Ages. All of those games coming out this year, 4 of which are dated and coming out in the next few months.
Yep.
And uh, Ninja Gaiden 4 is coming in the fall. Gables, overall, what was your thoughts on the whole show?
You know what? The whole show in and of itself wasn't bad at all. I actually did like a lot of the good like points about it. The Ninja Gaiden stuff, the Doom Dark Ages stuff that I saw really elevated things. I think it started coming a little bit of a lull for me and stuff once I started watching a little bit more like the South of Midnight stuff and then going into like the exposure like 33 stuff. I mean, it was kind of weird to where you had a high octane thing, like a big surprise at the get go, then you kind of progressively go down a little bit in terms of like the tone factor. Well, still interesting games and stuff that you did show, and then all of a sudden it just goes right up to 11 and stuff when you have Doom the Dark Ages,
Yeah.
because that's what made the time go by rather quick when that stuff. But with that, I would have given it like an 8 out of 10 for me.
Okay. This is a 10 out of 10. I
Okay.
think this is not counting like console reveals or like Summer Game Fest or E3 situations. Like this is like I think to me like the greatest individual like direct state of play Xbox whatever you want to call it we've ever had. Just 5 games, like focusing on 5 games, really four, and then the shadow drop of the fifth one. But like really just deep diving this. I love. I think the developer direct at this point now. We've had 3 of them now. All 3 have been really good. Um, and like the fact that like not only like they're always like uh, deep diving these games, showing the developers, talking about them, like really like having the people actually make these games talk about them, explain them, and like really like I said like a deep dive on these games itself. And then there are pretty much all games that are coming out soon,
Yes.
every year. And like the fact that like yeah we're getting 3 games like from Xbox, on top of on top of Avowed, in the next like few months, it just blew me away. Like I said, like all of like South of Midnight, Doom, and Clair Obscur were already games I'm interested in. But like they started this thing off by saying all these games are coming to Game Pass day one, and it's like
Right.
set the tone right off the bat. Bam! Like we knew Doom and South of Midnight was gonna be the case for, but we didn't know about that for like for the other 3 games that were shown, and then we didn't even know the fucking Ninja Gaiden 2 would be fucking revealed at all. Like it was even a thing. The Shadow Drop, bam, it's out now. Yeah, I absolutely love this whole entire thing. I've watched it twice now, and like I was just like fuck, like yeah, blown away by a lot of this. Like we're like even like I talked about like South of Midnight was a game. I'm like okay, I'm liking what I'm seeing here. This is a game I'm definitely gonna play. To like okay, this is a game like really look forward to now. Clair Obscur went from like a game I'm like all right, this looks like a potentially cool game, and the fact that like okay, no, this game looks like I can't wait to play this game coming out. I like this is gonna be a day one. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna like pick up and play this game. The fact like I would have gladly bought all like like Ninja Gaiden, I think is gonna be a phenomenal game, but it's just not gonna be my type of game. The fact it's coming to Game
Mm.
Pass, it will be the reason I play it. Because like it seems, I think it'd be like I talk about, like it's a game I probably love, but it's gonna be too difficult for me. Then the other 3 games are like these are games I would gladly pay, you know, whatever the price point is for them, I would gladly pay them. And the fact that they're coming to Game Pass is just like, fuck yeah, let's go. Like, I've been a huge supporter of Game Pass for a long time. Like, I think it's easy to shit on it. Maybe from a business end, it's maybe not great for Microsoft. But you know what? Microsoft is the richest company in the world. Fuck them. I don't care. Like Game Pass is great for me. I'm loving it. You know, I'm fucking I love this goddamn thing. I'm definitely getting my money's worth out of it. So yeah, like like all of these games look phenomenal. I cannot wait to play all 3 of these. And like yeah, just I think like beginning and ending with like it was kind of like just shocking to start with Ninja Gaiden, but like I think beginning with Ninja Gaiden and then ending with Doom was phenomenal. Was a good idea. Like you can't follow Doom. Like Doom is like there's no way you can't follow that. That was phenomenal. And I love that like just starting off with Ninja Gaiden, boom, here's this cool like holy shit moment, and then yeah like maybe like those games the other games aren't for you, but like there's a cool little like it was like a sandwich between these 2 crazy like action games, and like hey, these other 2 games in here as well that also look like they could be phenomenal. So yeah, I'm completely blown away by this, and like the fact like man like this like yeah we're getting a Switch 2 this year, but like man like this looks like man like this might be Xbox's year. Like this could be like even yeah we're getting a brand new console from Nintendo, but like when this year's over, like outside of the Switch, like this might be like the year of Xbox because like we're already getting 4 huge games from this like the first 4 months of the year, with Avowed, South Midnight, Doom, and I guess Clair Obscur. Like they're not so 3, but then they're publishing their Ninja Gaiden 4, and then like there's could be more. Like we still even got like Summer Game Fest is still happening. So we're probably gonna have some Xbox third party developer stuff here later on. So yeah, I was blown away by this. Like this, yeah, my God, this was phenomenal. So very happy with this. Um, yeah, but so we got some other news this week. Gables, some smaller stuff going on here. Um, been some rumors that the next remake from Resident Evil and Capcom will be Resident Evil Zero.
That doesn't surprise me too much because honestly, in the grand scheme of things, Resident Evil Zero would make some bit of sense and stuff because that's something that hasn't really been touched ever since the GameCube release. It's one
You
of the
get
remaining.
HD remasters.
Yeah, there's the HD remasters, true. Yeah, that you can play on modern platforms and stuff, but other than like say the original Resident Evil and maybe even like say Code
Code Veronica.
Veronica,
Yeah.
obviously. I mean, it's definitely disappointing for those that were expecting Code Veronica. I mean, but who's to say they're not doing Code Veronica? It's just one of those things where it wouldn't surprise me if they go the route of RE0 because this is the prequel to the original Resident Evil and stuff, and it would be kind of interesting just to see what it would be, if it's modernized in terms of what, like, say, RE2 remake or 4 remake kind of was, and like have that type of influence that way. But what were your thoughts about it, Tyler?
Um, I don't know. I'm kind of like it's definitely the one I'm least excited for. I mean, I knew it was eventuality this was gonna happen. Because like there's really only three options left at this point. It's 0, 1, and Code Veronica. I've always been like, please give me Code Veronica, just because that was the original Resident Evil 3, and like late in production they switched Code Veronica, or they switched what became Resident Evil 3 and Code Veronica around. So yeah, I would rather have Code Veronica obviously than Zero, but like because like even when Zero came out, it's definitely like obviously before like Resident Evil 6 and all the other like it went fucking stupid with it. Like Resident Evil 0 was always kind of like the you know the the redheaded stepchild. I could say that. Um, uh, of the Resident Evil, those like that kind of that early run of games. Of like the numbered series. So like it's just kind of like I don't know. It's just doesn't really go anywhere. It doesn't really like the story doesn't really go anywhere. It doesn't really do anything. So um, I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, it was gonna happen. Like I said, I'm fine with it. I guess because like Resident Evil Zero is like the one like I rented it on GameCube way back in the day, but like I didn't finish it. I didn't really, so. I'm down to check it out. I know, like my best friend Justin. I remember watching him play a good chunk of it back in the day because he's a huge Resident Evil fan. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk to him about it because I'm curious what he thinks. Because like, but yeah, like I don't know, it's whatever. Like it was gonna happen eventually. I just kind of wish, like I said, I've been saying for years now, please give me Code Veronica because that's like the only one I really have played at this point. So yeah. Next up here though, extremely okay games announced they are canceling Earthblade. People don't know extremely okay
Wow.
games. If you don't, the last game they made, you might remember a little game called Celeste.
Mm.
When the was our overall game of the year in 2018. Phenomenal game, one of my favorite games of all time. They announced in 2022 they're making Earthblade that was supposed to come out in 2023, then 2024, and then they announced a few days ago that has been officially canceled. There's a whole backstory about just overall like there was like a falling out with like the when the art director, like the main art director on the studio, and they kind of blew it. Like they tried to like make they hired a bunch of people on, and they tried to like after Celeste, the popularity of Celeste and that blowing up, they tried to like they tried to go
Mm-hmm.
bigger and better with it. They tried to make a bigger game on Earthblade than kind of like what they made in the past, like Towerfall and Celeste, and they kind of failed and they failed spectacularly. They said it's basically back down to like just a couple. There's only like it sounds like only like two people on the staff now, which is kind of what they were beforehand, and so they're kind of like they said like they were working on it and they're like they're progressing on it, but like it was like they were not passionate about it anymore, and they just felt it was like they weren't having fun making it, so they decided to cancel it. Which sucks because it's been over 6 years now since Celeste, and that's one of the greatest games of all time.
Wow.
It's one of those things. It's like it's kind of a small scale issue of what we see in like the big like of like major corporations where like they make this game and it's like, oh my god, it's like this game is phenomenal. And it's like, okay, we're gonna make the next one, but it's gotta be bigger. And like we're gonna hire a bunch of people, we're gonna spend way more money on it, but it's gotta be bigger. And it comes out and it's like, if it's just as big or only slightly bigger, it's a failure now because, you know, it's they spent way more money on it. And it's like that's kind of situation where it's like they like Celeste blew up and they hired a bunch of people and they tried to make a bigger thing and instead of just kind of being sustainable and making things they love, they try to be bigger. They talked about it. It's kind of blew up in their face. So it's unfortunate, and it's very. I don't know. It's at the same time though. It's kind of like it's nice to hear. It's sad. It's a big bummer because like I've been so excited for the next game. Obviously, like a lot of people have since Celeste. But yeah, it's just kind of sad this situation. What about you, Gables?
Yeah, that definitely is incredibly sad. I was kind of looking forward to Earthblade, see what it potentially could have been and stuff, but yeah, it's just the reality to where if you were like if you were like a game creator or like you're currently trying to create something that's even more successful than your first piece of work and stuff like that. I mean, there are risks involved with that too, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Celeste was such a big game. It was my game of the year for that year
Is my number
and
two.
stuff that I released. And even though it is a shame that we're not going to be seeing anything really substantial from the people that made Celeste, it's like at the same point, just points to realize that if you don't have passion to go forth and create something, I mean, and especially with a lot of the turnover and especially a lot of the controversial stuff between them and the art director and all this other stuff, it's just really been sort of like a who's who of just unfortunate events and stuff. And, it's sad, but at the same time and stuff, maybe this is a precursor for something better to come
Yeah,
from the.
yeah, yeah. Especially like them, like I hope they're okay financially available, like they're viable to like go on and make the next thing.
Mm.
And yeah, like when you're a small studio like that, maybe it's a little easier to pivot, I guess too. So there's only a couple people left on staff, so I hope. Yeah, I can't wait when the next game comes out. I'll probably be there day one to buy it. So most likely. So and then last but not least here, Pocket Pair, the makers of Power World, are publishing the next Surgent games. Their next game. It's a horror game. It's shorter. They said it's a shorter experience that's coming from them. People don't know Surgeon Games are the Tales of Kanzera Zao team. So yeah, I loved not I should say I really liked Tales of Kanzera Zao. That was a really cool game, and they it's really cool to see that. Like I love to see like these like smaller companies. We've seen like Inner Sloth do the same thing. The Among Us people, they made our like their own publishing arm with Outer Sloth. They announced last year at Summer Game Fest for like, hey, we're a huge success for the small indie team. It was a huge success, and we're gonna like take a lot of the money that we made, the wealth that we made, and we're gonna try to do for other people that maybe they didn't have the chance, or the opportunity to have, or someone gave them an opportunity, and then they obviously took off with it, and it's just cool to see like these like smaller studios that blew up, had a big success, and were able to like, hey, we're gonna like pass like we're gonna give other studios out there a chance to do some cool shit, and potentially hey, and it's like it's obviously that it's a business. They're hoping to make money off this, but it's also like we're gonna take some risks and take some chances and give these studios a chance to make some cool shit they're passionate about. So yeah, I love this, and I hope that when we see studios do this, I hope that we when there are those smaller indie companies that blow up and become this, I hope that this becomes more of a norm, especially nowadays where we see like we keep hearing constantly these like smaller studios keep getting closed down after being around for years and years because they just can't they can't get funding on their next game, and then they have to shut down because they just don't have anybody to give them fund their next one. So yeah, I love this. Um, but Gables, let's jump into what we've been playing here, buddy. Tell me what you've been playing.
Well, like I was like saying before we got into things here, I have been playing like a slew of games on the Switch. Obviously, because I'm more in like a retro like kick or something, I've been playing more of the stuff for like the Switch Online stuff. And what's funny is like I finished up playing a run of like Retro Bowl and stuff, that game that I've been playing for the past couple of years, went through the entire season, beat that game and stuff. And I went through another round of Tecmo Bowl and stuff. That's one of those games I've been going back to because it's so easy just to pick up a game, play a few games there and stuff, and then just put it on in suspended mode and stuff, save it, then go back again just to face off against other teams and stuff. Throughout this run and stuff, I've been dominating more teams until I got to like around week 12, week 13 when I started getting more close to the playoffs, and then like the defenses that weren't covering certain receivers I was throwing the ball to. Like for the Niners, for their play, both they got like four plays. Three of them are passing, one's running, and like one of the plays that I like using and stuff is it happens to where the wide receiver, it's like he looks like he's going to go for like a post route and stuff, but then he turns inward and stuff, like an inward type of like a slant or something like
A crow
that,
route.
like a curl route almost. And I would use that because every time I like would hike the ball and stuff, he would run for about like say 10 yards, then turn left, and then that would just give enough separation for the defender so I could throw the ball and get like about maybe 5 or 10 yards, and then mix that in with the occasional run and stuff where I would just get like about 10 or 15 yards on a play. It started becoming more difficult when I faced off against defenses like say for Cleveland, for not just for Cleveland, but also for Denver, and also the last team I ended up playing in the Tech Bubble was like Minnesota. So going through the Browns, going through the Broncos, going through the Vikings and stuff, there was one consistency, and that was they were trying to block a lot of my more powerful like offensive like plays and stuff. So that same route, I instead of like getting it almost every time, I would be hitting it like about maybe 50% of the time because when I did try to throw in that specific route, there was a 50-50 chance to where the defender would just get in front of like the receiver and stuff and manage to intercept the ball or this or that. But interceptions inside that game kind of work a bit differently because you have to line yourself up to where you're like right in front of the receiver in order to just intercept the ball and stuff and try to run it back. In this playthrough, I actually was able to trap my opponent, the the opposing quarterback to their end zone and stuff and get a safety. So that was actually pretty funny the way that happened. But also on this initial playthrough, I was more or less trying to figure out how to do like the running back screens and stuff because I was so used to using like one or two plays and stuff. And then I started making use of like one play that has like that little you go and then all of a sudden you have a little curl and so you can like face the so the wide receiver just faces you and stuff. You just throw the ball, to him and stuff. It was just more trying to beat some of the better teams like down the line and stuff. So that took me a better part of this week just to go through that type of initial experience. But other than that, though, other than like Retro Bowl and like Tecmo Bowl and stuff, I haven't been really playing like a lot of other games than that. I mean, yeah, even on the PS5, I've just been like watching videos and doing this other stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing.
All right. Yeah, I've only been. I talked about last week. Not gonna spend too much time on it. I've been kind of in like a gaming funk the last like month or so. Really, since I beat Indiana Jones, I just kind of like I get into it every year. It's just like an annual thing with me. Where like once we get to like game of the year time and we do game of the year lists, it's like
Hmm.
I'm just like it's just like it feels like I'm just like this onslaught of like trying to play as much as I can to get to game of the year, and then it's just like like it's just like you eat like a big dinner and then you just undo your belt buckle and you're like, oh god, it's just like almost like that. It's just kind of like you almost need like a little bit of like a break, to like before you're ready to eat, some pie or something like that, And I found my pie and it's been Hades, and
Ah,
about 10 I played about 10 hours in, and today I finished my first run. And stuff.
God,
I actually beat my first run. That was pretty cool. I played it when it first came out on Switch back in the day when it was a Switch exclusive, and I got like I remember I got to the final boss fight like once, and after like I played like probably like 15 20 hours of it, and I just I'm not big on roguelikes, and it's like it's not typically my type of thing, but I really fell in love with that. I think it was like number 4 on my game of the year that year in 2020. Despite the fact I didn't finish it, and picked it up on Xbox and been replaying on there, and started obviously a fresh save and everything. And yeah, now after about 10 11 hours or so, I finally finished my first run, and understanding a little better, being a little smarter about this time. And yeah, I've been really loving it. It's just really got me out of like I talk about like my funk and stuff like that. And I've just been just like the one more run mentality and stuff like that. I've been like regularly getting to the final boss fight over and over again for a while now, and it's probably like my sixth or seventh attempt. I finally beat him. But yeah, I'm ready to go back in. Tomorrow morning, I'm probably gonna start up another run in the morning and keep playing it. Finally, like you gotta beat like I think I can't remember how many runs you got. I know I looked it up way back in the day, but you have to do multiple runs before you actually like complete the story. And the story is actually really good and like that. And not on top of that, I've been loving it so much that I've been a huge fan of Supergiant games for long, going all the way back to like I was day one bought
hmm.
Bastion. I bought all their games day one. Um, that No Clip, who's been that's run by Daniel Dwyer, does really great documentaries. Did a really great like Doom documentary. They're all on YouTube, stuff like that. He did a No Clip documentary series about like while the game was in development in early access. He did a whole like thing with Supergiant Games on Hades, and they just put a thing out. You can buy the actual like Blu-ray copy of it, and I actually went ahead and bought that. So I look forward to that. Once I finally like fully complete the whole game, I'm gonna finally. I watched part of it like back in the day, but I was like, I just want to watch this after when the game is fully out. I just never got around to actually watching the whole thing. So I'm really excited. Like I'm just gonna sit there, even though they're all on YouTube for free to watch. I'm just like, I always say go out there and support the people that you love. And yeah, it's my way of supporting them. And yeah, I can't wait to check this out because yeah, I remember loving it back in time. People love it and said a lot of great things about that making of. So yeah, can't wait to watch that. But yeah, also just can't wait to get back to Hades because that game is phenomenal, and I'm so Gables. It's to the point I'm loving Hades so much right now. I started. I can't believe I'm saying this, Gables. I've been googling Steam Decks. That's where I'm at, Gables. Where like I don't want to wait for Hades 2 anymore. I just want Hades. I want Hades 2. Like I don't like doing early access. I'm usually the wait for 1.0 guy. But god damn it, man.
Dude,
I want
you
Hades
want to
2
know
so
what's
bad.
the most interesting part about this is you're not the you're not the type of dude that gets into these roguelike games, and
No.
here you are, you found the one game that convinces you, okay, now it clicks.
And not only, like I said, this was number 4 on my game of the year list in 2020. So this isn't like new for me, but like yeah, like the fact that like I love this game so much. Like I don't like playing games on my computer. I'm not like I want to sit on my couch on my 75-inch TV and play games on my consoles. Like and I'm
Yeah.
like man, I'm like I could buy a Steam Deck, and then I can just get the dock. It's like $90. I'm like I might just do that and just get Hades. And like there's so many great indie games that are just like trapped on Steam. Like not I shouldn't say trapped, but for me they're just like you might as well be on a different planet when you're on Steam. Just 'cause I do not like playing games on my PC. Um, so yeah, I'm just like man, there's something like mouth washing and stuff like that. I'm like man, I just want to play these games so bad, but I'm waiting for them to come to consoles. And if Hades 2 comes to PC, like 1.0 comes out and it's only on Steam, and I gotta wait like 6 months to play it on fucking console, I'm buying a Steam Deck. That's gonna be the thing that breaks me. Where I'm gonna buy a Steam Deck, because yeah, I got goddamn it, I can't. I don't want to wait any longer. But yeah, that's all I've been playing. I'm pretty much gonna be playing. Probably gonna play a lot of Hades until I guess Avowed is in a few weeks. So that's probably like that's my next big game I'm planning on buying, or playing. I guess it's coming to Game Pass. I don't have to buy it, I guess. But yeah, this is like the next game I plan on playing. The new game I plan on playing for a while. So yeah. But I think that's gonna wrap it up for us this week, guys. If you guys like the show, like what we're doing here, please, like I said at the beginning of the show, like, follow, subscribe, check us out. It's the best thing you can do for us. We don't have a Patreon. There's no way to directly give us money unless you oddly got our address. You want to send me a check for like 10 grand. That's fine. I'll send you my address for that, I guess. But yeah, I might hit something here at my desk. But yeah, if you guys want to support us in any other way, that's the best way to do it. Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube. There's a link down below to follow us. Check us out in all those places with links. But yeah, thank you so much for watching the show. I was Tyler.
And I've been Colonel Gable, so until next time, everyone, play some fun games, have a fun week, and most importantly of all, thank you for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk Nerds podcast.
Hey, Gibbles.
Yeah,
Too sweet.
too sweet, man.
See ya.
See ya.
I stole your saying, bitch. Bye, guys.